Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-news.com, and we are drinking an exchange beer, an international homebrew swap. A guy named Martin from Sweden shipped 2 of his beers over to us in the United States. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of customs information on that box that got dropped off of my front porch. But gotta give a good shout out to Martin from Sweden. He sent us not only a Pilsner, but a porter, and it's not every day we get beer from Sweden, so we're drinking both, and we're going to talk about both. So let's, you have the brew sheets, I have the email that came along with his beers. As he says, he's Martin from Karlstad, Sweden, and his brewery name is My Dog Morris. My Dog Morris Brewery is the name which he uses for all his home brewing. Yep. He sent us an Italian style Pilsner, he calls it Slipopit. It's the
Slipopit?
Yes, I think it's the actual Italian Pilsner Tippolis or Tippo Pils.
Yes.
Tippo Pils.
Tippo Pils.
Backwards. He got the recipe from a home brewing magazine. He says it's very detailed on how they brew it. He says that when he drinks his versus the original side by side, he thinks theirs is more smooth and his is more crisp, like an Italian Pilsner. So he may want to tweak the water treatment. So I'm glad you're drinking the Pils first. We can talk about that. He says don't mind the 3 different kinds of Pilsner. He's just cleaning out his shelves, which we know that we've done before. So let's talk about this one first, the Italian style Pilsner. I had a sip. I'm very happy about it. Well, please, have you shown it to the camera there?
Look how look how clear that is. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it is just a 1 tick shy of absolutely crystal. I mean, but it's absolutely beautiful the way it is. The color is, it's actually really fascinating as a yellow Pils color, but there's just it's just slightly darker than yellow, like the palest yellow. Yep. With it's like a very light gold, like almost a white gold color. And the recipe, it's basically almost 98% Pilsner malt. He's got a blend of some different Pilsner malt because, like me, he's cleaning up grain bins, right? Yep. But that's beautiful. It's all Pils malt, same color. But then there's just a touch, like 55 grams, which is like, what is that? Almost pushing 2 ounces of Caramunic 1. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, which I think is what's maybe driving that color. Just some sort of pleasant color adjustment.
I don't see any flaws in this. I mean,
there's a very subtle sulfur note on the nose, which is 100% on point, right? Very subtle for a lager. I don't get the much aroma from the dry hops, but it did travel here from Sweden. Yeah. Right? So there's a little bit of hops, dry hopped. Super drinkable, super refreshing. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, if you're trying to emulate a clone of your favorite Italian Pils, then I get it as far as wanting to adjust it. Yeah. But this beer on itself, I mean, if you, looking at, these are some very detailed brewing sheets here. Yeah, pull your sulfite to chloride ratio back to 1:1 and see if that gives you the smoothness you're looking for.
I love the crispness.
Just to get closer to the.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the bitterness charge could be just a little stronger.
You think?
Just a touch stronger. Again, it traveled a long way. So it very well could just be beat up a little bit. But if this is a beat up beer, I would take this every day. I would drink this every day backwards. Yeah. I mean, this is so
it ships better than Heineken, I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
Yeah. It is very, very good. Very well done, sir. And I've been swirling it a lot. But that first few sips, the carbonation from a bottle that's been shaken all the way over here, the carbonation is on point. It was like really held up pretty well, I thought, at least.
Very good. All right, I'm going to move on to the porter.
You're abandoning me and moving on to
I'm sorry, but
time is money.
Time is money, and I'm a little. I don't think I can take more of that Pilsner because it's too good. So here's the. This is the Wakatu Porter. Again, this is as he put it, a low ABV porter. So with the pretty solid body, it was really trying hard to get the body up. As he puts it, like if it doesn't have a full mouthfeel, it's like drinking cold coffee. He mashed it at a very high, well, at least a high temperature, not very high, but a high temp to get as much, I don't know, body into it without driving up the alcohol by volume. And then he tried to balance out the sweetness with hops. The choice of the Wakatu hops are, again, he was cleaning out his shelves. So right off the bat, like the coffee aroma. Can you just tell me what the grain bill is on this?
It's 66% Golden Promise.
Okay.
13% Caramel 150.
Okay.
7% what's called torrefied oats / flaked. So that's weird. That could just be some sort of Brewfather
software thing?
entry. I'm not sure. I've never heard of torrefied oats that were flaked, but flaked oats. 6% chocolate malt from Crisp.
That's what that is.
Actually, yeah. So, and then it's 4.5% brown malt from Crisp, and 2.7% roasted barley.
Okay.
So the roast character is coming from this chocolate, brown malt, and roasted barley in that order of strength from top to bottom. I am really taken back by how strong the roasted aroma is.
Yeah.
And I understand then, if this is your recipe and you are mashing, why you would call this cold brew coffee, right? Because it is.
Yeah.
It's interestingly has a pretty strong. There's a very dark grain, like raw dark grain aroma quality that is carried over from like when you mill dark grains. That's what this smells like. So I don't. Somewhere in the process, I'm amazed at how well that raw character has transferred all the way over to this end. To say that it's really good. It's fermented with let's hold off on that. So he said he mashed high. He mashes in at 159 F or 71 C.
Okay. Which
is high.
Which is high.
But the body isn't.
It's not too full, I don't think.
This body's medium.
Yeah.
Pleasantly medium.
Not a bad thing, yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah.
So I wonder if he fermented at
taste.
150 Fahrenheit or 66 Celsius, how much would that affect the body, you think? Based on our little experiment that you did with those
I think mash temperature and how it affects body is also very related to the grist bill too, right? I don't think it's just, you can't just look at temperature alone and go higher, right? The grist bill plays a lot in that body thing. So I don't really know how to answer that question.
Okay.
Because this is a strong, very pleasant, medium body. The finish is really clean, but you're left with a lot of roast character, telling you that it is porter. You know. Again, I'm going to say again, this is an American porter. I mean, it's listed as being American porter. I think it's 20 grams, which is under 1 ounce, at 50 minutes of Chinook, and then 30 grams, which is just over an ounce, at 50 minutes of the Wakatu, and then 50 grams, which is almost around 2 ounces, 5 minutes of the Wakatu. To me, I want to see a full ounce of the Chinook in there. As an American porter, I just want it to bite me back a little bit. But then again, if I'm looking at this, tasting it, and if I was judging it as a judge and I actually had this, I would be wondering, you might be trying to balance being afraid of getting too much bitterness from the dark malts.
Yeah. So
that's being restrained a little bit. I think this beer could take a little bit more bittering charge, for sure. I wouldn't worry, of American hop. I wouldn't worry. I think the Wakatu, like that presence is working just fine. I can't really say I pull those hops out of here. But whatever's happening, it's really supporting the coffee and the roasted malt. And I'm not, I obviously everyone knows I'm not a big coffee drinker, but this is to me it's a roasted porter beer. It's not super coffee for me.
No, I'm with you. I think it's like that first impression of the aroma.
I love the interplay of the roasted barley, brown malt, and chocolate.
True that. Yep.
It's really nice.
Well, that's great. I think that's another, great beer that got shipped across the ocean. His last comment in his email was like, just let me know if there's any off flavors.
Yeah, so there's no off flavors in either one of these, I don't really think.
No.
I understand the Pilsner, want a little bit more smoothness or whatever, but I don't know, the crispness, a little more bitter in there. I forgot, so let's go back really quick. Fermented yeast for this? Yeast. Safe Ale, SO4.
Huh.
Yeah, baby.
Really?
Yeah, when done right, it's still a good yeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell me how it's done right, I guess.
Not the way I do it. Talk to this guy. Maybe they get a different batch over there in Sweden.
What were the fermentation notes?
Fermentation notes is, so primary 5 days and the secondary for 5 days. So the primary 18C, which is, you figure that out. I did some conversions, but I didn't convert those numbers. Probably 18C is like 67-ish.
It's like 65.
So yeah,
65,
something
like 20.
like that.
Yeah.
So and then
it's low.
Then a little warmer on primary, and then it was 10 days conditioning at 6C. Almost at
it's cold
fridge temp. That is fridge temp. So yeah.
All right.
That's the way, man.
So maybe with the cold conditioning, knocking out some of that
SO4 character.
Yeah, I can't wait
I've
for your
brewed some really great beers in the past with SO4, and I have some experiments coming up where I want to play with it a little bit more. So,
that's what I was going to say.
Because those experiments I have to bump up the list based on how this tastes.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
That's great.
This is Homebrew Swap number 43, special edition, European International Edition from Sweden. Martin, our hats are off to you. This is great. So
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
These are all-day drinkers.
No, there's things like, of course, you're always going to tweak. I mean, let's talk about your house stout that has never been the same.
Yeah, never been the same. Yeah, because that's what homebrewing is, right? Yeah. So, but cool, these are great beers.
Yeah, really good stuff. So, thanks a lot. If I know a few people have written into us and they want to send us beers. I've given out my address a couple times. But if you're somebody who'd like for us to drink your beer on camera and post it on YouTube, drop us a line, dudes@brew-dudes.com. That's our email address. And then we can figure out the details of a homebrew exchange for us to take a look and have a taste of your homebrewed beers. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.